We have a new show for you today. Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison for sex trafficking minor girls for Jeffrey Epstein, which is a lighter sentence than R&B singer R. Kelly got, 30 years in prison for federal racketeering and sex trafficking charges. Pretty wild world we live in when the sidekick to Jeffrey Epstein is somehow getting a lighter sentence. While all this is going on, media is brainwashing people to think that the most important issue they need to fight for is to take abortion rights away from the state that you live in and give it back to the psychotic federal government that has supported lockdowns, vaccine mandates, and has zero control over our economy. Here's Joe Biden overseas saying that what's destabilizing the world is Roe versus Wade.
The one thing that has been destabilizing is the outrageous behavior of the Supreme Court of the United States in overruling not only Roe v. Wade, but essentially challenging the right to privacy. We've been a leader in the world in terms of personal rights and privacy rights, and it is a mistake.
Drivers continue to pay a premium because of this war.
Let me hear this. The second part of the question was, would it bring down the price?
Will it bring down prices? And the war has pushed prices up. They could go as high as $200 a barrel, some analysts think. How long is it fair to expect American drivers and drivers around the world to pay that premium for this war?
As long as it takes. So Russia cannot, in fact, defeat Ukraine and move beyond Ukraine.
Interesting. Maybe if we're lucky, it'll last as long as the war in Afghanistan, and everybody could suffer for decades. I got some more clips to show you later. The show starts now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So the main story, I have a few stories actually, a lot's going on, but Ghislaine Maxwell got 10 years less sentencing than R. Kelly, the sidekick of Jeffrey Epstein that almost definitely was involved in way higher level stuff, way more, complex stuff, getting a lighter sentence. First, I wanted to play back that Biden clip because I was listening to him and I'm like, hold on.
The one thing that has been destabilizing is the outrageous behavior of the Supreme Court of the United States in overruling not only Roe v. Wade, but essentially challenging the right to privacy. We've been a leader in the world in terms of personal rights.
We've been a leader in the world of personal rights, and they're challenging our privacy. Think about how diabolical this is. This is a person that supports every restaurant, whatever, anywhere you work, nurse, hospital, not allowing you to have a job or even enter the facility if you don't have a COVID-19 vaccine. Zero medical privacy whatsoever. He doesn't support that at all. I'm positive that he supported lockdowns for a while, which is like imprisoning innocent people in their homes, not allowing them to run their business as everything falls apart. But yeah, he's this massive leader in privacy and freedom. Like, why do people even believe that? And the first part of it is also like the biggest lie. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Biden, but I just want to reiterate this. Hold on one second.
The one thing that has been destabilizing is the outrageous behavior of the Supreme Court of the United States.
The one thing that has been destabilizing, and he's speaking overseas too. You have to understand every country is facing inflation. Every country is having their, value of their dollar. I don't want to say dollar because everybody has their own currency, but basically things cost more in almost every country in the world, if not every country in the world. Everyone's facing it, Australia, Europe, and he's over in Madrid being like the one thing that's really destabilizing the world is, the Supreme Court in Roe versus Wade. That's it. Yeah, it's not the pandemic, the 2 years of restrictions. It's not the proxy war that you're funneling money to in Ukraine and sanctions you're putting on Russia that have backfired. Oh no, it's just the Roe versus. Unbelievable. I'm gonna play this little Instagram TikTok reel. I know I did yesterday, but I summed my thoughts up with the Ghislaine Maxwell thing, and I'm just gonna build off that. Ghislaine Maxwell recently got sentenced to 20 years in prison, yet the media seems to give more backlash to two doctors on a podcast questioning Big Pharma and citing valid studies than they were about who Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were working with or for. If only they had the motivation to dig into that story, as much as they're willing to host every Stormy Daniels who comes along to question Donald Trump or people they don't like. Why isn't the media digging into this story with the same ambition? Seems important. Let me know what you think. It's just so obvious. There's the old saying I always bring up. It's like you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? So it's like we can't just punch ourselves in the face every day trying to wake up all the sheep. But at the same time, it's just so blatantly obvious. It's like the media has this 3-month fit against the Joe Rogan podcast because he had on Peter McCullough and Robert Malone, who are two credible doctors / scientists who questioned Big Pharma and really were, unraveling the entire narrative that the media pushed for 2 years to treat you like peasant serfs as they imploded the economy. They freaked out about that for 3 months. If you're some random hooker from Russia who, saw Donald Trump through a window, they'll put you on mainstream media and act like you're, some sort of 50-year expert just because you have some sort of blackmail or trash on Trump. Most of the time, the people are lying. And I'm not one that thinks Trump's a perfect saint, but all these people that are lying are like Amber Heards, they're a bunch of Amber Heards. They're just out there like doing whatever they can to take him down. You could get a platform on a mainstream source just gossiping and lying about Trump, but if you know Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell, these people were almost definitely the most notorious, famous, biggest, most connected human and child traffickers of the modern era. I don't know what else you would really call them. People that I think Epstein had this massive net worth and, he's this businessman, blah, blah, blah. Everybody finds out later that he's a human trafficker. So it's like, how did he get so much money? I don't know. Maybe he was like operating the biggest human trafficking ring on planet Earth. I don't know. Maybe that's what happened. But, Ghislaine Maxwell is getting, once again, a 20-year sentence and R. Kelly's getting a 30-year sentence. I'm not saying R. Kelly's a good guy. To be fair, I didn't look into that entire court case. I only really heard what everyone else heard. I will say this, though. When it came to like Michael Jackson and Bill Cosby, I believe those two were the fall guys for people like Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. It's like when you have Epstein and Maxwell trafficking kids and, humans to probably celebrities, I don't know, politicians, who knows what their client list was or who was on it. Well, except for the people that we know flying on his plane all the time. We don't know that because they won't tell us that stuff. They're going to deep dive into Donald Trump, into stupid stuff that makes no sense about him. They'll deep dive into Joe Rogan and, try to blacklist anybody who speaks about Big Pharma, but they're not interested in doing investigative journalism to find out who the heck was on the list of Epstein and who he was working with. How could someone get 20 years in prison for the biggest, probably child human trafficking ring known to man, but there's no one else that goes down with them. And then R. Kelly gets a bigger sentence. On that note, like I wanted to say with Michael Jackson, he faced court and he was innocent in court. But the media, instead of telling you that there's these people trafficking, humans to your favorite politicians and celebrities, they'd rather just be like, and I don't know who exactly was on the list. Like I said, it's not public, but it's an easier story to just be like, Michael Jackson's weird, he's the pedophile, right? All the people in the news, they're like, we're not doing human trafficking, it's Michael Jackson. And he obviously was a strange character, Michael Jackson. He didn't have a childhood. He was a little odd for sure, but he faced his day in court and he was innocent. And I feel like he was the fall guy for all of these way higher level creepos, Bill Cosby, the same thing. I did a little poll on Instagram, and I'm going to probably leave it at this if I don't expand on it. I said a poll. The first one was who thinks Bill Cosby's guilty, who thinks he's innocent. I would say 85 to 90% of people said he's guilty. 15 to 10% of people said he's innocent. The next poll right after that poll, after about 90% said Bill Cosby's guilty, I said who actually read and followed the court case outside of the media narrative. The same exact statistics, but the opposite. 10% of people actually followed the court case. 90% of people were just going off gossip. That's how powerful the media is. If you don't pay attention, you think Donald Trump thinks all Mexicans are rapists and criminals. You watch the full context and you realize that he said some are coming across the border, which is true. Traffickers, coyotes, they're bringing in fentanyl and lots of drugs, killing hundreds of thousands of Americans. That's true. But then he says, I assume most are good people. And he's just saying there are some bad, but I'm not saying all Mexicans are bad. But you watch the media, all Mexicans are bad. Said, he's never said that. So it's the same thing with the Bill Cosby case. It's like everybody thinks he's guilty just because the media says it. But I listened to the case. I was reading it. I found a lot of inconsistencies from the person accusing him. Different stories in 3 different articles. So I was just thinking to myself, I don't personally think he's guilty, but they charged him. And even if he was, I'm not, I like I said, I read the whole case and I was following it and it wasn't exactly what the media was saying. Of course, there were a lot of women who came out Just like if you're famous Donald Trump, oh, there's 100 women who don't like Donald Trump. Yeah, there's tens of millions of women who don't like Donald Trump. Cool, give him a Time magazine cover. But in general, it's like, Bill Cosby's like this fall guy. Let's make this, black celebrity who actually had some conservative values and was pro-family and told people to pull up their pants and stop acting ghetto. Let's act like he's the worst thing in the world for 20 years. Even if you think Bill Cosby was guilty and you disagree with me, is Bill Cosby as big of a criminal as Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell? Even on Bill Cosby's worst day, do you think that he trafficked, humans and children? Probably not. So it's like, that's why they make a big spectacle, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with me, out of, because everybody has their perspective on the Jackson and, Bill Cosby case. But there's a reason that this is like the spotlight O.J. Simpson 10-year, trial that everybody stares at, and not the Ghislaine Maxwell trial or these other trials that are much more important. So overall, I didn't really look into the R. Kelly thing outside of the media narrative. Of course, everybody thinks he did it, but I don't think that he deserved more time than Ghislaine Maxwell. And the fact that she only got 20 years and nobody on her client list is like, really being showcased. She didn't work alone. Epstein didn't work alone. They both probably wouldn't have even had a job if they did work alone. Maxwell's father was some, British spy. Some people think Israeli spy. I don't really know. But, it's like no one really cares. And now the media, and I'm going to play another clip of Biden in a second, they're trying to brainwash people into thinking, I'm just going to call politicians Jeffrey Epstein's friends just for comedic value. But who knows? A lot of them probably are his friend. Now it's like, oh, the big issue is, let's let Jeffrey Epstein's friends, rip babies out of the womb, because that's the real activism. Is like, it's not good enough to just abort babies in California and New York and in, most of the states or half the states. What we need to do is follow Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and Psychotic Pigeon Eyes, as I call her. We need to follow them because Jeffrey Epstein's friends need to have federal power and rip more babies out of the womb. It's like, is that what people think activism is? You're not satisfied with your abortions in, California, abortions in New York City. You just need abortions everywhere. You need to let Jeffrey Epstein's friends in government allow the babies to just get ripped out in second and third trimester. That's your activism. It's disgusting. It's demonic. Just do abortions in your state. That's not enough? No, of course. This is what they have to do. They need to micromanage every aspect of your life. Oh, what we really care about is my body, my choice, and privacy rights. Bro, you just locked people in their houses for a year and supported the firing of millions of nurses, firefighters, police officers, and military members because they wouldn't get a brand new mRNA injection from vaccine manufacturers that have no liability for side effects or injuries. You don't believe in privacy. You don't believe in my body, my choice. What you believe in is like you're full-blown communist when it comes to breathing air, but all of a sudden you're like an anarcho-libertarian when it comes to murder. It's like we have all the rules in the world if you want to breathe air without a cloth over your face because your sole existence is like, scary. But, when it comes to third trimester ripping kids out of the wombs in Jeffrey Epstein's court case, all of a sudden we're libertarians. We don't care about anything. It's like, this is why, I wouldn't consider myself really a libertarian because I think taxes are a scam. I agree with libertarians on a lot, but I do think thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not murder. There are some good laws that are like important to just draw the line, but I don't really take any title. I just call it like I see it. All right, let's listen to Joe Biden talk about how the Constitution should allow every state to abort as much as they want, as late as they want. And I'll have a little, counter to that here. Let's take a watch.
It's not hyperbole to suggest a very solemn moment. Today, the Supreme Court of the United States expressly took away a constitutional right from the American people that it had already recognized. They didn't limit it.
All right, sorry. I'm just going to cut him off, and then I'll let the whole clip play. He says that abortion is a constitutional right. Abortion is no, and this is like just not true. There's no abortion in the Constitution. The Constitution doesn't allow you to abort. And if you really want, most like left-wingers would be like, the Constitution sucks. It's just a bunch of old white men. I almost respect that more than what he's saying because although it's not true, I think the Constitution's good. They're being honest. We don't believe in the Constitution. At least they're being honest. It's like Joe Biden's like, oh, it's constitutional. Do people know in the 1700s, the 1800s, and even 1900s that in certain areas you weren't allowed to have sex out of wedlock? Like this new culture of like, let's just be obese, pop pills, go to Future concerts, and just rail any chick we see and then abort the baby 4 times because we can't sexually control ourselves. This is not American constitutionalism. I'm sorry. Even in the 1900s, when you were traveling to certain areas, you couldn't even sign into a hotel unless you were married to someone because people valued marriage. Stop just banging random chicks at an EDM concert. Be with somebody that you love. This was the American value for hundreds of years. It wasn't even legal in certain areas to do things with women that weren't your wife. This happened in Europe too. I know in the mid 1900s, I know people that are alive today that I've spoken to that said, when I was with my girlfriend who then became my wife, we weren't even supposed to check into certain hotels because they wanted to make sure that you weren't just banging random chicks. So this idea that it's constitutional to just get fat, pop pills, and just rip kids out of the womb, it's not constitutional. You could say you don't believe in the Constitution and you want to make a new country where everybody's fat, popping pills, and just like has no sexual control. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not trying to act like I'm this perfect person. I'm just saying like it's certainly not in the Constitution to abort babies, and the constitutionalists who created it, and for literally until like 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, everybody kind of understood that it's good to marry someone, it's good to have sexual control, and it's not good to just abort. The way to, like, that's not constitutional. Nobody thought that for hundreds of years. They wouldn't even allow you in certain areas to check into hotels with a woman who wasn't your wife. So there wasn't a need for abortions because people weren't just banging any guy or girl that they found without a condom and sloppily doing that. They waited, they found someone they loved, they tried to get married, and then they had kids with that person. It's actually a better concept than locking people in their house, forcing masks on their face like freaking prisoners of the state, force masking children, making them get injections against their will or else they can't work at a Costco, and then, everybody's fatter, everybody's like popping pills, everybody's sexually, just like doing whatever. It's like, it's actually like disgusting. And I'm not perfect. I'm a musician. I've been ignorant. I've been a degenerate. I'm not acting like I'm holier than thou. I'm literally not. I would tell you if I was, I wish I was. I wish I knew, like Rod Stewart said, I wish that I knew what I know now. When I was younger, I wish I knew what I know now, but I didn't. But if you compare both cultures, it's like, yeah, we are way more disgusting now. And you got people like Joe Biden trying to act like it's a constitutional right. Nobody who wrote the Constitution wanted you to abort kids. Nobody for the first 200 to 300 years of this country were aborting kids. And certainly it wasn't like a thing that they wanted because their crazy idea was like, hey, stop just banging random people. It was actually like outlawed for a long time to just, casually have sex with someone that's not your wife. They didn't even allow it for hundreds of years. So he's such a liar, but we'll play the clip.
It's not hyperbole to suggest a very solemn moment. Today, the Supreme Court of the United States expressly took away a constitutional right from the American people that it had already recognized. They didn't limit it, they simply took it away. That's never been done to a right so important to so many Americans. But they did it. It's a sad day for the court and for the country. 50 years ago, Roe v. Wade was decided and has been the law of the land since then. This landmark case protected women's right to choose, her right to make intensely personal decisions with her doctor, free from the interference of politics. It reaffirmed basic principles of equality, that women have the power to control their own destiny, and it reinforced a fundamental right of privacy, the right of each of us to choose how to live our lives. Now, with Roe gone, let's be very clear. The health and life of women in this nation are now at risk.
You still have a choice to live where you want. You can't just move to California and say, I want to open carry my gun at a 7-Eleven. It's California. It's not legal to do that. We have 50 states. If you want to open carry a gun at a supermarket, you move to a state where you can open carry. Abortion, it's the same thing. If your number one priority is aborting babies, move to Los Angeles and live in shit, piss, and Sodom and Gomorrah, crime everywhere. If you're a mother and you don't want to live in a safe suburb where your kids can be treated normally and you want to risk getting shot in the head, move to New York City. You know, it happens much more often than in nicer areas. So it's like, you have the right to choose. He's such a liar. If you are, if your number one issue is open carry, move to an open carry state. If your number one issue is abortion, first of all, disgusting. Second of all, move to a state where you could get aborted. Anybody at this point would be like, you know what? Regardless of whether I live in Texas or California, maybe it's time to rethink like what I'm doing. I've done this in my adult years. I've rethought my entire sexual understanding. It's like, I'm like, maybe it's not great to like just hook up all the time. It's not like ideal. It's not good to just like bang chicks all the time. It's like, it's not healthy. It doesn't make you happy. It's a fleeting lust, Yeah, it's fun. Sexual stuff is fun, duh. But at a certain point, you become like a man or you become a woman, or maybe you, I don't know, become a freaking bleeblorb or something, and then you vote for Elizabeth Warren. But whatever you become, it's like you're supposed to grow up and be like, you know what? Maybe instead of like moving states because I want to abort a second trimester, fetus out of my body, maybe it's time to like have control, real freedom, and, control over my life of the decisions I make so I don't have to face this issue all the time. And there are condoms, there are like Plan B pills, there are things that you can, I'm not like advocating for it, I'm just saying there are like things that you can do before like just making abortion your entire personality. But I don't know. It's just crazy that people think like letting Jeffrey Epstein's friends and governments control every state is like the main issue. The Democrats, I'll give you a hint. Republicans and Democrats, they're both corrupt. Democrats want to control every aspect of your life all the time. If they can't control everything they do, if they can't force you into a room, if they can't quarantine you, I'm sure if Democrats controlled every lever of Congress, we probably would have had quarantine. I'm not every lever of everything. I mean, there was a little bit of, even with the Supreme Court, there's checks and balances in states. Florida, they're so mad at Florida. Why are they so mad at Florida? Because Florida disproved their entire freaking myth, fake science, where it's like, oh, if we lock everybody down like slaves for years, everything's going to go away. It's not true anywhere in the world. You have places that have like an over 90% vaccination rate. They're still having cases. Some places like Israel had record amounts of cases after they got everybody 3 shots. It's like, we get it. You want everyone vaccinated, but in general, if you have a state that differs from the federal government, they freak out. They need to control everything all the time. They want to force a mask on your face, put you in a house, probably throw you in a quarantine camp if they could, like Australia, and say you're not even allowed to leave or we'll arrest you. And then it's like, oh, we care about privacy and freedom. No, they want to dictate every aspect of your life all the time. Take your taxes, take your guns, tell your state that you have to be like California and New York City. Someone got shot in the head in New York yesterday, and Eric Adams is blaming the gun again. It's like, dude, they blame guns, they blame white people, and they blame cops, and they wonder why crime doesn't go down. And I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying if I watch the news and I believe Democrats, I would be like, oh, the reason there's crime is because there's guns. Even though in states and counties where there's more guns than New York, there's less crime. It's not the inanimate object, dummy. It's the person holding it. It's like cars. You could hit somebody with a car. It's super screwed up and you're going to go to hell and jail. But it's like, it's the person driving it. It's the person holding it. It's like, if I followed their media, I would literally think that guns are killing people. White people are causing all these massive crimes. It's like all this white nationalists and everything. And then it's like they blame cops all the time too. I'm not even like a cop apologist. It's just like, if you have eyes and a brain and you watch the news, it's not a big surprise where the crime's coming from or what's going on. But everything that's happening in New York City, they promote. Eric Adams is fine with, musicians and celebrities preaching gang culture. We all act like he's not. Oh, we're fighting the gangs. It's like, bro, you're allowing these kids to grow up listening to this music, watching this television, thinking it's cool to do this. Then they keep shooting people in the streets and you blame the cops. It's like, the crime's not going to go down in New York City. How? They're soft on crime. All these left-wing prosecutors, they're soft on crime. You murder somebody, this and that. I mean, you get a shorter sentence. They don't give a shit. But, Excuse my language. I wanted to read an Elizabeth Warren tweet because she is Elizabeth Warren, if you don't know, is a half pigeon, half female. She's actually incredible. She's if you've ever read Animorphs, it's where humans turn into animals. But Elizabeth Warren's a woman, but also sometimes she is like a superpowered, pigeon. That's just a joke, by the way. I'm not trying to dehumanize Elizabeth Warren. I just think she has the anger of a pigeon outside Chick-fil-A that's trying to steal your waffle fries. But, she's a beautiful woman or something. But God bless her. She said, our planet is on fire, and this extremist Supreme Court has destroyed the federal government's ability to fight back. This radical Supreme Court is increasingly facing a legitimacy crisis, and we can't let them have the last word. That's Elizabeth Warren. Pigeon Elizabeth Warren. She's upset, I think, at the Supreme Court ruling that the EPA, our energy, I don't know what exact environmental agency, doesn't have like supreme authority over everybody, which is a great ruling. So of course she's mad. She said our planet's on fire. This is like projection. Earth is going to be fine. Earth was here before us. It'll be here after us. And Earth is, it'll figure itself out. I'm not worried about planet Earth, but Elizabeth Warren is such a psychotic, angry, probably mentally ill, like totally unhinged lunatic. So she projects. Like I look at the world and I'm like, you know what? It's not the best it's ever been. I don't know. Maybe it is the best it's ever been. But it's like Earth is amazing. You got oceans, you got mountains. Like Earth is fine. Humanity is a different story, but Earth is okay. I look at the world, I'm like, man, God is great. It's a beautiful day. Elizabeth Warren, the earth is on fire. The earth is on fire. The earth is on fire. Pour water. Oh. Sorry, I was thirsty. And it's like, some things on earth are on fire, but other things are not on fire on Earth. The Earth is massive and, there's a lot of beautiful areas. Like go to the Grand Canyon, it's not on fire. Go to the Hoover Dam, it's fine. Go to the beach, East Coast, West Coast, it's okay. Nature's fine. But Elizabeth Warren is such an unhinged psychopath that like she's projecting her mentality on the world. Like in my head, I'm like a calm person. So I'm like, it's a good day. Could be better, could be worse. Life's crazy, but, it's just another day of the circus. Elizabeth Warren, every day she wakes up like a freaking pigeon. She's like, Earth is on fire! 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 It's on fire! Ah! And I'm just like, I'm like, pigeon lady, calm down. You got to feed her like a pigeon. Put some crackers in her mouth. It's on fire. You put some Okay, it's like she needs a Snickers bar or something. The earth is fine. You're a psychopath. If Elizabeth Warren did the inner work, maybe took a year vacation, meditated, she would be like, oh, Earth's not on fire. My brain was on fire and I kept projecting it onto planet Earth and I thought everything was on fire. It's like, yes, that's what being a psychopath feels like. It's okay. You're not the only one. Thanks to Big Pharma just popping pills in everybody's throat. There's a lot of people who are mentally ill like you, Elizabeth Warren, because they have minor problems and then they just get addicted to opioids and Adderall, and then they become full-blown psychopaths like you. So you're not alone. Actually, most of the country at this point is either like obese or mentally ill. It's actually frightening, and it's sad. It's not funny. But it's, it's like, if they can't control every aspect of everything, they freak out. They need to dictate everything, but they don't run anything properly. Like, they're not even good. I'm not a full-blown libertarian where I think, like, I'm not an anarchist. I'm really not. I think certain rules are important. However, I would be okay with Democrats if they made good rules. Like, if they were like, we're going to ban food, I would be like, I'm listening, Are we going to ban dough conditioner? Oh, no, that's legal. Are we going to ban, like, cancerous food dyes? Oh, no, those are legal. Are we going to ban, like, hormones in milk? Oh, no, that's illegal. Are we going to ban, illegal things in Europe that are, like, actually terrible for people? Oh, no, all that's legal. Oh, no, they're banning, like, whole milk and, like unpasteurized, like, pomegranate juice. It's like, I'm not a full-blown libertarian. If they banned illegal fake food, I would be fine with it. But they ban all the good stuff. And then they make all of this crappy stuff that's illegal in Japan legal. So it's like Democrats don't do anything right. You want to regulate the environment? I'm listening. I don't believe that you should be able to just destroy a lake or steal land from Native Americans and like, dump crap in their water supply. I'm for environmental regulations, but they have to make sense. You can't just steal my money, lock me in my house, let India and China pollute all over the place, end oil, have millions of rolling blackouts, get rid of nuclear, which is actually great energy, and then tell me you're saving my life by stealing my tax money and letting pigeons like AOC and Elizabeth Warren run the show. That's not environmentalism. In fact, you go to some of these liberal cities, they're some of the most disgusting environmental crises in the country. LA should be a shining utopia. It's disgusting. The air looks white from all the smog. Okay, I get it. There's a lot of people. The oceans are disgusting in LA, disgusting. They're all polluted because every time it rains and anytime something happens, all of the streets go into the ocean. If you go to nice, SoCal or California shore towns and with people that aren't complete degenerate demons, they're like, yeah, clean up the streets. We love our oceans. We're environmentalists. And when it rains, all of this goes out into the drains. And, we want to protect sea life and we want to protect our kids. And we don't want the oceans to be disgusting. And it's like, yeah, that's what a community that actually gives a shit about environmentalism looks like. There's a lot of them in California. You don't see them on the news, thank God. Hopefully nobody realizes what's great, so they don't come. We don't want people. But in general, that's environmentalism. LA is an environmental hazard. Every time it rains, they're destroying sea life. It's just destroying the ocean. It's like a toxic mess. I used to swim in LA. I would get hit with like plastic. I felt like I was in a freaking, Mark Ruffalo like campaign ad. It was that bad. It really is garbage out there. So it's like they're not even good at anything they do. I would be fine with environmental regulations if it actually protected the environment. But they talk about changing the climate so much, but they don't talk about geoengineering. China has the technology to make it rain in an area the size of Alaska. That's Forbes, okay? It's not a conspiracy theory. That's mainstream news. If we have the technology or they have the technology to make it rain, okay, let's talk about climate change. Let's talk about weather manipulation. Can we end the drought? Is it possible to end the drought or not? We're not going to talk about it. We're just going to steal my money, have rolling blackouts, let LA destroy their environment. New York City, man, that should be nice, right? Got a lot of liberals there. Oh no, it's like the most disgusting city. I like New York City. I'm not trying to knock it, but it's like, it's dirty. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but Japan and Tokyo, there are areas that do a better job on crime and cleaning the streets and stuff. It's because it's a culture. Japanese people aren't total liars. They actually don't hate themselves. So it's like crime is very low in Tokyo. Anomaly, you don't understand. There's too many people. That's why the crime's up. People don't necessarily just kill each other over Jordans. It's not like everybody doesn't just commit crimes when there's a lot of people. It doesn't help. Obviously, numbers are going to go up when you're jam-packed in certain areas. It's not ideal. But there are cities in this world with way more people than LA and New York that have less crime. Why? Because it's cultural. It's not normal to do that. And people don't just trash the streets. They actually respect themselves in their city. You go to these major cities in America, it's not the case. People don't respect their city. They don't respect themselves. They don't respect their neighbors. That's where all the crime comes and all the filth. There's a way to keep it cleaner. People just don't care. I've seen a community that cares. I've seen a community that doesn't care. They just don't care. And you say something like that and they treat you like you're crazy. I don't care about race, this, that. Like, I don't care who you are. If you're a good neighbor, you're a good neighbor. If you're not, you're not. But it's like, clean up the street. Stop trashing it. When you get a group of people that's like, I actually want to take care of where I live, it'll be fine. So it's not just simply numbers. It's cultural. And in New York, they don't care. It's not like they're telling people to not trash it. They're like, it's the gun's fault. Blame the gun and the dirt bikes. I know there's a problem with illegal dirt bikes and stuff, but it's like, it's not the number one problem. It's definitely not great, but tell people. It's like, be strict. I'm not saying I want to be the mayor, but if I was the mayor, I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to talk to people in Queens, people in Brooklyn, people in Manhattan. Say, listen. I mean, they're probably not going to listen, but I'll be your best friend if you're a good person. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're, make music. I don't care if you're a banker. It's like, let's make the city great. Let's make it nice. What's the point? I would talk to the people in the hood too. It's like, what's the point? You're in a great city. There's a lot of opportunity and economy around. Chill out. There's no benefit. You know what I'm saying? You're not fighting the bankers. You're not fighting white people, like killing your neighbors all the time in gang violence. You're not fighting the system. It's actually the dumbest form of crime. You're hurting your neighbors and fighting with people who are not even, you get what I'm saying? It's so silly, but it's like, Eric Adams could be like, listen, this is what we're doing. Get with it or I'm coming for you, And it's like, instead he's just like, oh, it's the guns' fault and the conservative values and the Roe versus Wade. It's like, all right, bro, keep aborting kids, blaming guns, and your city's just going to keep going to hell. Tell people to clean that shit up. Make a crazy high fine. If you trash the street, I don't know, thousands of dollars. I don't even care. Throw people in prison. Give people a warning. 3 strikes or something. 2 strikes, whatever. I would get a little stricter on it. It's like, don't trash the city. If someone trashed my house, I would never invite them back again. You know what I'm saying? They would be banned from my house. Ban people from the city. I don't even care. I would, It's like, make it known that we want the city nice and clean and it's going to be better for anybody, but their priorities are all screwed up. Their number one priorities are like abortion, gun control, blaming white people and cops. It's like, okay, I don't even care anymore. It's like, keep doing that. Sure. It doesn't bother me. I'm not like a snowflake. Like, I think that no bad white people exist. Yeah, I get it. There's some bad white people out there. But in general, like, that's your number one issue. Yeah, okay. Just close your eyes when you watch the news and just, fantasize every time somebody shoots a woman in the street. Just fantasize it's Donald Trump, because it's not. Everybody could see who's doing the crime. But whatever. You could just lie to people and your city goes to shit. And I don't get it. But I like New York and LA, what they used to be. It's like they're the least environmental. They're the least clean. They're not safe anymore. And their leaders, for some reason, people keep voting them in. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna read a comment. Someone said, anomaly becoming a judgmental evangelical. It's not even the case. I practice what I preach. I don't want to go to LA. I don't want to go to New York City. I've been there quite often. I'm not going there. There's nothing for me there. So I'm not even being judgmental. It's not my neighborhood. I don't want to live there. I think it's disgusting. That's my personal opinion and preference. I don't want to be there. I don't like anything about it. I lived in LA for 8 years. I think I should be allowed to talk about it. I grew up near New York City. I've been there 10 times. I think I should be able to talk about it. It's not like I've never lived there or been there. I've stayed in New York for weeks with friends and lived there part-time. They've gone to hell. It's just reality. It's way worse than it was 10 years ago. If you don't want to hear my opinion on it, that's fine. But I guess you could say I'm judging, but it's like, if you want to live that way, go live there. That's fine. I'm just saying it doesn't work. And I think it's disgusting, but whatever. I don't know. I want to live in a clean, nice, safe area. I don't want to live in a place where women walking their kids get shot in the head and everything is going to shit. And every playground is literally filled with crackheads and criminals. Yeah, I'm sorry. Is that a judgmental evangelical? I lived in LA. You couldn't even play at 90% of the parks because they were filled with crackheads. If that's the community you want to live in, go there and you could talk with your atheist liberal friends about how judgmental the evangelicals are. I don't care. Don't care what you call me. It's not even really what I am, but it's like, I don't want to live in a disgusting hellhole. If that's me judging, I don't care. I practice what I preach. I don't want to go. I'm not going to LA for a show. I'm not going to LA to hang out. I'm not going to LA for a protest. My protest is I don't want to go to Sodom and I don't want to go to Gomorrah, and I'm not going. I'm not going for a show. I'm not going for an invite. I'm not going for a gig. I'm not going if you pay me $3,000. I'm not going to protest masks. I'm protesting the whole city. They're disgusting. I don't want to go there. Nothing is fun about it to me anymore. That's my opinion. And I think the world would be a better place if you think that I actually think it's great. If you think that I'm a judgmental evangelical, I don't care. I want to live around other judgmental evangelicals, and you could live around people that have no morals or basic respect for their community. I actually think it's great. I think political segregation is fine. I don't think racial segregation works anymore. I'm just saying political segregation. Like, I want to live next to Clarence Thomas and people that think that way. You know what I'm saying? I want him as a neighbor. I want someone that, I'd rather him be my neighbor than like Elizabeth Warren and, whatever degenerate the left supports. That's what I want. So, I'm totally fine with people not liking my perspective, but I think people that don't want the same values should live where they want. That's why I think state rights and county rights are epic. It's like, live where you want, and we don't have to agree on everything, but that's just my take. Someone said debate Zach Hubbard. Here's the thing, folks, and you could let him know too. I mean, I get maybe he just wants attention off my channel or something because it's bigger, but I don't even know the guy. People have mentioned him before. I've never said anything negative as far as like the number stuff and using numbers to predict events. I'm a big like number guy. I believe when it comes to like sports betting and like even like casino stuff, the people who really win big are number people. Numbers are real. You know what I'm saying? Math works. So I'm not against it, but if this guy wants to debate, he can contact me respectfully and say, hey, I want to have a conversation. But what he's been doing apparently is like people have been coming just being like, shut up, get out of politics, he's the best. So it's like, if he comes to me normally, respectfully, then sure, I never back away from a debate. But if his idea is to just like ego out and think he's more important than he is and get his like little minions to just be annoying to me and tell me to stop doing what I'm doing, then I don't have to open my platform to you, because honestly, it's like maybe he just wants clout and attention and has like a massive ego and thinks that he's more important and intelligent than he is, which is like, then I don't want to open my platform to it. I'll give my platform to somebody who has 0 followers if I think they're a good person, but I think you're a piece of garbage and an egomaniac, then I have no interest. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't envy like any more like fame or attention. So I live my life. I like to swim in the ocean. That's what I enjoy doing. So if I do anything like debate or converse with people, I do it because I want to do it. And I find, so if he comes in good faith and respectfully and honestly and has like a real conversation he wants to have, I have no problem with the debate or conversation. But when people are like egoing out, spiraling, like bad mouthing me and then trying to like, get attention off me, then it's like, I'm not interested. I've debated dozens of people before. I'll debate dozens, but just to be 100% fair, the way that this guy's coming at me and like having his supporters treat me is not the way to get a debate. It's the way to make me think that you think that you're more interesting, important, intelligent than you really are. And it seems like one of these ego truthers. There's truthers that are like, I'm so important, I have all the answers. And I'm like, I think what I do is valid too, obviously, or else I wouldn't do it. But I actually don't have this massive ego where if people disagree with me or do something else, I'm like, that's cool. Everybody plays their role. Everybody has like a different aspect. Even fully political people. I'm not really political. I'm not in politics. I don't want to run. Some people run for office. I'm not interested in that. But I'm not going to hate on every man who does something different than me. If you're a hater, it makes me just think that, you have like an inflated ego, which a lot of truthers do, for sure. They think that they're really important. They think that their message is the most important. And instead of like gaining a massive audience, having like, good characteristics of a good human being, they just spiral out of their own ego. And instead of understanding the wisdom of like, you can't please everybody and everybody's not going to be able to take your message, you have to plant seeds and let it grow, they spiral and just try to like force everybody to listen to them, which is why people don't listen to them in bigger numbers. So, if you want help, and like consulting or something, hit me up. If you want to debate, I'm always down, but do it in good faith and do it respectfully. And if you're not going to be respectful, at least do it in a way that makes me like intrigued, instead of like spiraling, bad mouthing me and having like your little minions come and be like, get out of politics now. It's like, cool, dude. It's like when I debated the guy Styx Hexenhammer. I told people like they got all mad, and because he said that basically the whole debate that me and this guy Styx Hexenhammer had was, it was basically, I said that inflation is a buildup from 2020, and although Biden is making inflation worse because he's garbage, the energy prices are a result of our sanctions and energy stuff in Russia. But I said that 2020, the pandemic, had a massive part in our inflation. Guys, there's countries that Biden is not a part of that have inflation too, and they have the same leader they had in 2020. I'm not saying Trump is all to blame, but it's the Democrats and the Republicans. They imploded our economy. And a lot of this is the fallout from 2020. Sticks wouldn't admit that. And he said, no, that's not true. The inflation's all Joe Biden. And if Trump was in office, there wouldn't be. And inflation doesn't take time. It happens right away. It was literally really dumb, in my opinion. So I basically said, I think that's dumb. And anybody that believes you, I think is pretty dumb. And they got all mad and they're like, oh, you badmouthed us. And I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm respectfully saying, listen, I don't think everyone needs to listen to me and like me. I'm not asking for your attention. I'm saying if you think that in 2020 and all of the pandemic restrictions and supply chain crushes and trillions of dollars printed, if you think that didn't affect inflation at all, I do think you're dumb, and I do think you should listen to other people who preach dumb stuff like that. I'm not trying to be like rude or anything. I'm just like, everybody does. Some people watch the Kardashians every day. If that's what you like, that's what you like. So I wasn't trying to be like too mean about it, but I'm like, if you literally believe that, go listen to that. I feel the same with this new guy who's trying to like send his people to my page and be annoying. To me, it reeks of he doesn't get as much attention as me, and he's jealous because nobody, he has a small audience, and he's spiraling because he has like a massive ego and thinks he's more important than he is. So it's like, that's kind of my take on it. It's like, I've never badmouthed this guy one time in my life. I've only complimented and be like, I've never even seen his things, but I do believe that like there are certain people that are mathematically talented that can do special things in poker and gambling. Like the best people in fantasy sports, the best people are not randomly winning. They're adding up numbers. There is math in this world. So I've never even said anything bad, but it's like, that's just my take. It's like, if that's your thing, go watch Six Hexenhammer. If your thing is the number thing, go watch the number guy. And if the number guy wants to come to me and say, Anomaly, I disagree with you, I don't like what you're doing, I'll be like, sure, let's debate. But if he's just going to talk about me on his stream and I don't even listen to it, and his audience is going to come to me instead of saying like, hey, would you talk to him? I'd be like, sure. But if like literally the comments I've been getting, it's not been many because obviously I'm way more popular, but it's been like, Anomaly, get out of politics. I'm not even in politics. So it's like, you have people trying to like guilt me and shame me out of what I'm doing, and I'm not even doing what they say I'm doing. That doesn't make me want to talk to this guy. You get what I'm saying? I'm not afraid of a debate or a conversation, but it seems to me like a sleazy, grimy like attempt to just get my attention, and I don't like that. With Sticks Hexenhammer, I literally think he's stupid. I'm not trying to be rude, but I thought he was like this smart guy. But the fact that he thinks that printing trillions of dollars and like shutting down supply chains for a year in 2020 won't affect inflation, and it's not like a ticking time bomb, it made me think he was dumb. So I literally wasn't even trying to be like too rude. I'm like, if you think that all of that in 2020 doesn't impact the currency or inflation at all, watch the dumb guy who tells you the dumb stuff. And people are like spiraling, but it's like, watch, you're not going to like my channel if you're that dumb, in my opinion. Someone said Economics 101. Yeah, but he's got this audience of people that just literally like love Trump so much that they're not willing to admit that 2020 was a joke. And it's not even a fully blame Trump. It's like, it was Pelosi, it was McConnell, it was a bipartisan thing that maybe even on his best day, maybe Trump wouldn't have been able to stop it, right? Let's just blame Pelosi or McConnell. It doesn't bother me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, it wasn't just Trump. It didn't even start with Trump. He just was the president at the time. So it's like, if people are so into him that they can't admit 2020 was like a total scam, then it's like, I don't know. We're not on the same wavelength. You know what I'm saying? We're not in the same energy sort of thing. Someone said definitely Team Anomaly. Here's the thing. I appreciate y'all, but here's the thing. I never, and this is something that I think a lot of other people don't understand, I never tell people just to watch me. When I do Instagrams and TikTok Reels, I'll just tell you guys, because you watch me quite often probably, I'm a one-man team. I make my own videos. I make my own thumbnails. I do the research for it. I find the videos. It's literally just me here, okay? I had a friend work for a month. Unfortunately, it didn't work out long-term. And for the 99.9% of the time, it's always been me. But I had 1 month where I had a friend just kind of doing stuff for me. Didn't work out. No good. God is great. It's all good. It's just, so when I do stuff, I just do what I want to do. It's not like this concerted effort. It's like, I see a video, it intrigues me. I think it's funny. I want to make a joke about it. I think it's important. I want to cover it. That's all I do. But here's the thing. If other people cover other stuff than me, I've never told people on my channel, only watch me. Don't look at them. Even people that I despise. I'm such a nice person. I'm so honest that even, sorry, I'm just moving my desk down a little. Even people that I don't like, I see the value in them. You know what I'm saying? Like Joe Rogan, there's value in his podcast. I don't always agree with his political takes, but he talks about health. He has on both sides. Sometimes he has on great guests like Robert Malone. There's value there, right? TPUSA, same thing. Certain things politically we disagree with, but there's value in certain things that they're doing on college campuses. Daily Wire, me and Ben Shapiro disagree on lots of things, but you know, Matt Walsh's documentary is valuable. Candace Owens has a lot of really great takes that are the opposite of Ben Shapiro. It's like I'm not a hateful person, so I could even find value in people that I don't generally agree with all the time. So when people come at me, it's like they act as if I'm gatekeeping something. It's like, actually, if you're not a total scumbag, I might tell people to watch your channel if I think you're good. You know what I'm saying? I might be like, hey, don't just watch me. There's other great people that do different stuff than me that's important that I just don't have time to cover. It's not a passion of mine. You know, like I do what I'm inspired to do, and I'm not always inspired to do certain stories. Doesn't mean they're not important. Doesn't mean there's not value there. So, you know, I'm not a gatekeeper of any sorts. It's like I like that people like other stuff. There's people that watch me that like this person, that person, other stuff, and I've never done it. So I don't know why people get upset with me, but I understand it's also because I'm doing well, you know, and that's why I don't. Thank you, Camilla. I appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. I actually don't want any more fame and attention. I'll just be transparent with you guys. When it comes to why I started even doing this, I wanted to make a difference. I believe the media is fake. I still do. I think they're negative. And my initial goal when I got into it was not only to even the scales, because I felt like the scales against Trump and Bernie were so rigged that it was just like not even fair. But I wanted to change the energy of politics. From the very beginning, I said, even Fox News, even CNN, angry, negative, selling pharmacy pills. You know what I'm saying? Bad energy. That was my goal. I was like, I want to tell the news in a way calmer and chiller way that doesn't cause people to get all upset and like screw up their bodies. So I did that. I accomplished it. I'm not trying to brag, but just to reflect on my career, I've had almost 1 billion views. I might have more than 1 billion views. Guys, I'm one person. I'm 32 years old. I was just a rapper. I didn't even mean to do this. My legacy is already solidified. I've already reached 1 billion people. I've, entered the consciousness of 1 million people, millions of people, got them to get on the better side of politics while at the same time seeing through the deception. I've accomplished everything I could have ever wanted to accomplish and more. I'm not saying I'm done. I'm not saying I'm giving up or anything, but I'm just saying as a person to get 1 billion views and beat mainstream media, I could retire right now and be a legend. I'm just being honest. When it comes to what I want now, I still want to make a difference. I want to make an impact. I do. That's always the most important thing is like the message, the content, the quality, helping people. That's number one. But when it comes to everything else, we got to be honest. What do people want? Some people want more attention. Some people want fame. Some people want money. Some people want power. Do you know what I want out of all that stuff? Once again, the message is more important. Changing, the landscape is always going to be number one. But when it comes to like fame and power and money, I don't want any more fame. Sometimes people come to me business-wise, we could make you way more famous. Guys, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I get recognized everywhere I go. I went for a walk yesterday and I took 4 pictures. 4 people recognized me. I'm turning, some guy's on a bike and I let him go. He says, thank you. And he goes, oh my God, he almost crashed because he recognized me in my car. Everywhere I go, I get recognized. It's like I'm too famous. And I'm not bragging about it. I'm just saying like I don't want to be more famous. It's actually scary to me to get more famous. So sometimes people come to me with a business deal. I want to give you a lot of fame. I don't want to be more famous. I don't go anywhere anymore without getting recognized. And it's like, it's fine. It's not a bad thing, but it's like any level above this is not even appealing to me. I would rather have money than fame at this point. I'm just being honest. I don't want more attention. I want more money, not like in a selfish way, but like I want to be able to retire. I want to be able to have money for my family. I want to be able to buy my parents a house. I want to be able to build a studio for my brother. These are things I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't want any more attention. Power, I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm not trying to like run the world. I'm not like Napoleon. So out of all that stuff, that's what I care about the most. Obviously the message is important, but I've already accomplished so much where it's like the more you reach with a message, the more famous you get. And I don't know what level I really want to take it. So to make a long story short, some people come at me because they're jealous. It's like, well, Anomaly gets, a billion views and nobody watches my channel. It's not my fault. You know what I'm saying? I don't run Facebook or Instagram or Google. Work hard, do the right thing. I can't really tell you what to do. I don't know what your destiny is, but I'm willing to give anybody like some shine. I've done it many times before if I like somebody. So, anybody wants to debate or converse, it's like, that's totally fine with me. Just be a good person about it. Don't be a scumbag. That's it. And, I'll open up my platform to anybody, but that's just how I feel. Let me read some. Someone said, bro, if I saw Anomaly, I'd be a little starstruck. I appreciate you, Mr. Chuckle, but it's flattering when people see me. It's not a bad thing. It's not like it bothers me. If you ever see me, say hi. I'm always willing to take a picture. I'm always willing to chat. I'm a normal person. I'm just saying in general, it's like fame-wise, like sometimes people will be like, I'll blow your up. I'm like, how much bigger should I even get? 1 billion views, that's not enough. I haven't been compensated for how many views I've had. For the amount of impact I've had, I don't have as much money as people have that have done way less than me. So I'm trying to catch that up because I don't want to be poor. I want to be able to buy property, etc. on that note. But I don't, the attention thing for me is like not appealing anymore. I definitely want to have an impact, but I don't personally need any more like flattery. But other people don't get attention, so they get mad at me where they're like, why don't people care about me? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Do you want me to do consulting for you and look at your brand and tell you what you're doing? Because I don't know. Someone said there's a place for you. I'm living in the moment. I appreciate you, but God is great. I'm grateful, and I'm just trying to enjoy my life. So I'm not really tripping about the future. I think when you maximize the present, that's when good things happen. Someone said my 9 and 10-year-old love you too. You're part of our family and don't even know it. Giovanna, I appreciate it. Hopefully they only watch the good streams because I know some of my content is not child friendly and some of it is. So I'll keep that in mind. But hopefully you filter out as a mama because not every live stream is like is the most appropriate for kids. Thank you. Someone said I'd rather go listen to AOC and that's saying a lot. See ya. I don't know. You'd rather listen to AOC than me? That's fine. People act like I care when they leave. I mean, God bless you, but it's like, this is another like attention grab. I did it the other day. It's like, I'm leaving the stream. Okay. See you, brother. God bless you. Have a good weekend. I'm leaving the stream. Hey, guys, I'd rather listen to somebody else. Like, Anomaly, independents don't listen to you. Why are you listening to me then? I don't understand it. It's like there's a lot of people I don't listen to, and I just don't listen to them. You get what I'm saying? It's like I can name 1,000 podcasts I don't listen to, and there's never a moment when I'm in the comments being like, I don't listen to you. Okay. All right. See you. Bye. I don't listen to you. We don't listen to you. The independents don't listen to you. I'm like, I don't care. I don't even know what an independent is. What do you even consider an independent? Whatever. I don't think everyone listens to me. I understand there are people that don't. That's perfect. It's like, we don't listen to you. I'm like, now I think you're lying. Now I think you are listening to me because you're in here listening saying you don't listen. So someone's lying in this department. It's pretty funny. Dude, I want to go to a podcast I don't listen to, like I don't know, like Logan Paul's podcast, and be like, hey, Logan Paul. He's like, what's up, dude? I don't listen to you. And he's like, okay. I'm like, I'd rather listen to AOC than you. And he's like, okay, dude, that's fine. I already have like millions of streams and stuff, so it doesn't matter. He's like, all right, I'm just letting you know I don't listen to you. Here I am listening to you, not listening to you. It's like, cool, dude. I don't, if I owned YouTube or something, I would understand. If I ran for office and I was promising you the world and saying, if you vote for me, I'm going to clean America up, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, he needs to face, backlash. It's like, I don't want anything. I don't, sometimes people come to me asking for favors and then they get mad at me halfway through the conversation. And it's weird to me where it's like, listen, I wish great people the best, right? If you're doing something great outside of my sphere, I wish you the best. But sometimes people are asking for favors, and I like politely am just like, listen, dude, I got 50 million things going on, and like for now it's not the right thing because I gotta do other stuff. And people spiral and they get all mad at me, and I gotta like back people up and be like, listen, I don't need anything from you. I don't want anything from you. I live a good life and I just want to be left alone. You come to me asking for all these things. I say chill, and then people spiral where it's like, what are you, like a succubus? You're just trying to like use me? You know, I don't have to do anything. And I'm not saying I'm going to stop. I appreciate everybody watching and stuff, but it's like people act like I have to do something. Like I could literally stop making videos tomorrow, and you get what I'm saying? I don't want to, but it's like I'm not a politician. I'm not working for a big conglomerate. Everything I do is what I'm inspired to do. I don't owe anybody anything. You know, I appreciate the only people I owe something. All right. Octopus Crime said, I'm going back to the bathroom. I'll be back in a minute. Dude, I love that. That's so funny. Exactly. It's like, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm leaving the stream. Like, okay, dude. I don't know. That's why I don't want more attention. Like people are like, I have a deal for you. I have this. Dude, I want to be left alone. I don't want anything. I mean, there's things that I'm striving for, sure. I'm not going to just sit here and do nothing, but it's like I actually like peace of mind. I don't read every comment, not because I hate people, but if I read every comment, I'd be a psycho. I would lose my mind. I got to just calm down. Stu said, I don't listen to you, continues to listen to the whole stream. It's literally comical because I understand, dude, some people sit here and they say, I'm the truth, I'm the best, listen to me and we're going to save America together. The only way to save America is listening to me. My information is going to change the world. Then it's like, yeah, you can go. I don't do that. I don't tell people they have to listen to me. I think the greatest value I do is, one, I relay news stories without all this anger and hate, which is beneficial. Two, I'm funny sometimes, which makes people laugh. That's beneficial. Three, I preach self-awareness, self-accountability, physical fitness. I'm not perfect at everything. I'm not claiming to be, but these are qualities that'll change your life. I give business tips all the time. You know, I think there's a lot of value in my streams. So it's like I'm self-aware of who I am, so I'm constantly giving value. Some would say I'm giving more value than most streams that spiral at me, but the people who get mad at me and the people that are like, I'm the most important truther in the truther sphere, I don't act that way. So it's like if you're leaving the stream, if you left someone else's stream, they're like, I don't want to listen to you. They're like, you're leaving the truth. If you don't get the truth from me, you're not getting the truth. I'm the best truther this side of Trutherville, USA. And if you don't get the truth right here, then where the hell you gonna? Like other people act that way. So I get why you'd be like, I'm leaving. But like, I don't actually care. Like you could be like, I'm never watching your show again, and I'll be like, that's fine. And then it's like, I don't like what you're saying. I listen to other people. It's like, cool. I have zero care for that. I actually recommend that you do listen to other people because I think it would get quite stale if it was just me, in my opinion. Someone said you're funny a lot of the time. National Party Chat said, Anomaly talks out the side of his neck for all of you morons. You look angry, National Party Cat. For a party cat, you look pretty like angry. What do you think's important, National Party Cat? I'm going to give you the floor for a little bit. Not because you're complaining, but I just find it interesting. So since you think I talk outside of my neck, which I don't, why don't you like my channel, National Party Cat? Why are you here? I'm not mad at you. I'm just curious. Like, what am I not doing? Like, what's the void that you want to fill? I'm going to give you a chance to fill it. What's that void? What is this information / attitude / agenda that's so much better than mine that you have to sit here with a cat avatar and just be upset? I'm going to give you the floor because I want to know what I'm missing and what you provide that I don't provide, because I'll give you a chance to provide it. Give you a minute and I'll put it on the screen. And then actually I have to record a song. Many don't know too, I'm also a music artist, so not only do I produce my own news show, but I have a song with like a really cool artist that asked me to collab with them. It's pretty exciting. I'm not going to say who, but when it releases, I'll let you know. Let's see. Okay. National Party Cat said, I have been sub for years and sometimes I tune, but today is the same. As always, you talk about yourself in the same light 90% of the time in comparison to famous other people. I don't understand what you're talking about. At the end of streams, sometimes I'll talk about myself, but I don't know. I do a lot of other content, so I don't. You talk about yourself in the same light 90% of the time in comparison to famous other people. I don't understand what you're saying, but if it really bothers you, I don't understand why you don't just click the X button. Not in like a passive aggressive way. It's just like, I just don't feel like people are telling the truth when they're like, I don't like your channel. Because there's thousands of channels I don't like. I never go there. I never watch them. I don't understand why you'd sit here for an hour and be like, I don't like watching. It's like self-torture. It's like Chinese water dripping. It's like dripping on your head and you're like, I hate this. This is, you talk about yourself too much. And it's like, okay, even if that were true, let's just say I suck. And why are you here then? I don't get it. It's like, I'm stuck here. It's dripping on my head. It's hurting. And I'm like, dude, you're not even tied down. You're like, I'm a prisoner of the Chinese war. It's like, there is no Chinese war, bro. You're not tied down. You could literally stand up at any time. No. Like, dude, like, you want to know what I watch in my spare time? I'll just give you some hints. I watch podcasts. I like comedy. I like surfing. I like MMA. I like some sports, but other sports bore me. I don't know. It's like, do you have a hobby or something? Can you do something else? I'm not begging for you to stay. I don't get it. Someone said Dave Grohl vibes. I've heard that people think I look like Dave Grohl. Some people think I look like a Mexican Drake, which is a funny one. But let's not talk about myself because it bothers National Party Cat, who hates my channel yet subs and just complains all the time. Someone said Barricade's a legend. Yeah, Barricade Garage is great. That guy's awesome. I haven't seen his stream in a while, but he's super funny and he's like a homesteader. It's pretty cool. All right, one more comment and then we're going to roll out. Someone said addicted to chaos. I don't think my streams are that chaotic, but maybe you're talking about something else. Someone said, Anomaly, talk about the time you got attacked by a homeless person. Well, I hate to talk about myself, but just to piss off National Party Cat, I might go into a self-loathing story. No, yeah, so real quick, I guess I'll end on this since you asked. I was in Los Angeles and I was voting, and Los Angeles, like, it was like falling apart like it has been for years, but outside of my voting area, there was this massive like bridge, and under the bridge, it just looked like hell. There were just like dozens of tents and like people there. So I went, this is when I was voting. I ran to the I went to the bridge and I just took a photo of it because I wanted to get like a picture of like how bad it was under the bridge. And one of the homeless guys like just saw me take a picture and thought I was taking a picture of him maybe. And he just sprinted towards me and he ran after me and I ran like, it was like a block, maybe like a 30 second run to my voting booth. He just sprinted at me and I sprinted away because I'm not trying to fight a crackhead. I mean, and I ran in the voting thing to like get away from the homeless guy. And he like ran in too. They like let him in and he like confronted me and I was like, yo, dude, chill out, bro. I'll delete the picture if you want. And he was like, all right, delete the picture. So I deleted the picture and we ended up getting along. I don't know. He was like, oh, you rap? I rap too, blah, blah, blah. And then I was with some girl like just in line. I didn't know her, but I met her in line and he like offered her $20. He literally gave some girl a $20 bill and was like, yo, I'll give you $20 for your phone number. So this guy's so homeless that he has the money to give $20 to a girl or like a woman, you know? So it's like, that's the story of them chasing me. He just chased me because I took a picture of him, but then he proceeded to give $20 and hit on, random women in line. Pretty weird. It was that's like LA. Stuff like that happened all the time. Like I lived there for 8 years. I have there's so much, it was such a weird place. I'm so over it, but it was kind of fun for a while, but not really. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. And have a beautiful day, guys. I'll be back with videos. And if you like this one, it is what it is. And by the way, some people say I don't have time to watch a stream for an hour, which is totally understandable. the first 5 to 10, 15 minutes of every stream is usually like the bulk of it. If I ever go past 15 minutes, usually it's a lot of question and answer and just kind of riffing off of comments. So to anybody that is afraid to watch because it's like too long, just watch the first 5 minutes. It's totally fine. I wouldn't say I prefer that, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, you don't have to watch the whole thing, but appreciate it.